Everyone, Pastor Nathan here, continuing our series Back to Basics, Firm Foundation devotional series that's working to supplement what we're doing on Sunday mornings. So the time of this recording, we're in between Acts chapter 2 and Acts chapter 9 in our series. And there's a lot that happens in the intervening 6-7 chapters. There's so much going on in the early explosion of the church. There's preaching. There's prayers for boldness and God answering and power. There's life together. There's healings. There's judgments. There's church conflict. There's persecution and so much more happening together as God's people. There's Lord's Supper and baptisms and all the things that we would expect to see the church doing. It's happening in the early church. I think it's great because as we go through life as a church together, whether whatever church you're part of, whether that's Epiphany or another church, you see these things continuing to take place. God working. There's preaching of the word. The sacraments are being administered. There's prayers that are happening for the church, including prayers for boldness. But the church is in a communication relationship with Father through Jesus Christ by the power of the Spirit. You've got condemnation of sin, maybe not to the extent of like chapter 5, Ananias and Sapphira, where these two folks are lying about what they're giving to the church, and God strikes them down because of it. There's still judgment against sin happening in the church because that's part of what the word does. There's gospel, but there's also law. There's church conflict. The Hellenistic Jews and that is those Jews who were not from Judea, and then you've got the Jewish from Judea Jews, if you will. And there was a conflict between that, and the church had to figure out, well, how do we go about the business of helping people and yet also making sure the main thing stays the main thing, the gospel. All of the conflicts that we would see in our churches, the basic idea behind them, the church has been dealing with for 2,000 years. And yet the Lord is working through them. He's working through the good things, but he's also, working in this church through the conflict and through the challenge in order to, put his people in a position to share the gospel. That's especially true when we look at the persecutions. They were put in a position to be bold witnesses, even though there was pain, even though there were hardships, even though there were struggles for the church and for the members of the church. Ultimately, it was putting God's people in a position to witness for him as followers of Jesus. And that's what Jesus said they would be. They would be martyreos, witnesses for him in Judea, Samaria, Jerusalem, and as the earth, and so forth. So anyhow, I guess my encouragement to you is this today, as you see your church and the messy thing that it can be sometimes, and also the good thing it can be, God is working through all of it in order to bring his gospel, good news, through his people to the world, because that's why he's left us here, in order to be his witnesses as we follow Jesus into whatever future he has for us. Anyhow, God bless you as you are his witness, faithful witness, in whatever circumstance and circles he has put you in. Take care, and we'll talk again soon.